On April 9, 2019, Ivy Wangechi was going about her daily routine in her campus and getting ready for her birthday celebrations to mark her 25th birthday. Little known to her and her classmates that an estranged boyfriend would cut her life short hours to her birthday. This story reveals the dire insanity of uncontrolled anger and the vulnerability of women at the hands of unstable men who claim to love them. Naftali Kinuthia drove over 300 kilometers from Nairobi to Eldoret following his estranged girlfriend refusal to pick his calls, and in a split second of a decision he hacked her to death with an axe over jealous suspicions when he saw her hug another man. This is yet another record of femicide, a national issue that continues to taunt and hound the Kenyan society today. Ivy Wangechi lived with her parents in Makongeni, Thika. She came from a middle-class family and she had a pretty normal and happy childhood. Ivy was a brilliant girl which saw her join Alliance Girls National School, where she also scored straight A's, securing a place in Moi University to study medicine and surgery. At the time of her demise, Ivy was a final year medical student waiting to graduate in December of 2019. According to reports from some of her neighbors in Thika, Ivy was a calm and quiet girl who rarely interacted with people. She was disciplined and serious with her work, explaining her track record of academic success. The neighbors also reported that Ivy attended a local PCA church religiously when she was at home. Ivy Wangechi crossed paths with one Naftali Kinuthia at around 2007 and 2008 in school. Naftali Kinuthia was born in Nakuru, but his family moved to Thika following the 2007 post-election violence, and they settled in Thika, where his family went ahead to establish their name in business, and they became popular businessmen in the town, building a name for their family. Kinuthia claimed to have met Ivy when they were in school together at Joyland Academy in Gatonyo, which is in Gatanga, Murang'a County. He claimed that they schooled together until they completed KCPE, after which they went their separate ways, but kept in touch and maintained a somewhat of a friendship. However, contrary to Kinuthia's claim of schooling with Ivy up to class 8, messages from the school stated that Ivy schooled there for a short time and later transferred to a different school in Thika. Kinuthia also claimed that their family knew each other and were family friends, a claim that seems to be not very accurate as Ivy's family did not seem to know Kinuthia in depth. Similarly, Ivy's neighbors in Thika did not seem to know Kinuthia or whether Ivy and Kinuthia were in a relationship. Nonetheless, some people claimed that they had seen Kinuthia around Ivy's neighborhood just before she left for Eldoret to go back to school. On Tuesday, 9th April 2019, Kinuthia finished his shift at 6 a.m. at the City Betting Farms offices located at Mombasa Road, Nairobi, where he worked as assistant administrator. Workers who saw him that morning said that the 28-year-old was calm and did not have any signs of irritability, stress, or unusualness. The same morning, Kinuthia called his mother to check on her and his family, then went about his business. Speaking to a media correspondence, Kinuthia's mother stated that it was just another mother-son call and conversation and did not suspect anything out of the ordinary with her son. What people did not know is that irrespective of his calm demeanor, Kinuthia was stressing about his estranged prospect, Ivy Wangechi. Reason being that she was not answering his calls and had allegedly blocked his phone at the time. Failing to access her in any way, he entered his car and drove more than 300 kilometers from Nairobi to Eldoret the same morning, going straight to Moi University to know why Ivy Wangechi was not picking his calls. Talking to inquirers, Kinuthia said that prior to this journey, they have been talking as usual and Ivy told him about a birthday party that she was planning for herself and stated that she needed 28,000 Kenya shillings to host the party. She then requested him to help her with the money and Kinothia sent 14,000 Kenya shillings, promising to deliver the balance on April 10th, which was her birthday. A few days later, they became estranged, which ended up with Ivy blocking Kinothia on her phone, making it impossible for Kinothia to access or communicate with her. Kinothia went ahead to claim that he even tried to get a mutual friend to put him through and reconcile them with Ivy, to no avail. Following this, he took the liberty to drive to Eldoret immediately after work without informing Ivy, saying it was in the efforts to meet her and sort their differences. On reaching Moi University grounds, he parked his car at the Moi Medical School and decided to locate Ivy physically. Despite the abruptness of the journey and not informing Ivy about him coming to Eldoret to see her, Kinothia claimed that the journey was a normal one and he frequently visited Ivy in her school without having to inform her. He also added that he wanted to deliver the balance she needed for her party in person and wish her a happy birthday, then disclosed the news that he would not be able to attend because he would be working on the said day. He stated that Ivy was surprised to see him and informed him that she did not need the money anymore as her new boyfriend would take care of the cost of her birthday party. He also claimed that he was painfully informed that he was no longer invited for the birthday party and that he should leave the university immediately. Kinothia went back to his car, which was parked near the emergency unit, shocked by Ivy's rejection and agitated, but without saying a word about the situation to Ivy or anyone. Then, to what puzzled everyone, Kinothia then returned with a seemingly new axe which had a long handle and a knife, and to everyone's surprise, he hacked Ivy severally and stabbed her, causing fatal head and neck injuries. Witnesses at the scene say Ivy screamed just once and dropped down following the fatal hit. She was then rushed to hospital where she later succumbed to the injuries. At the same time, the mob descended on Kinothia in a mob justice for what he had done. Later on, in his defense, Kinothia stated that Ivy was using him for money and he had spent over 200,000 Kenya shillings to support her, and in exchange he expected that she would love him in return. To further explain his actions, Kinothia said that after Ivy broke up with him in Moi Medical School grounds, he saw her hug and hold another man just as he was returning to his car, and this filled him with rage. He claimed that he felt extreme anger that a connection he had established with Ivy in 1998 in nursery school had suddenly come to an end with no hope of restoration. And for that alone, raging with jealousy, Kinothia fetched the axe which was conveniently in his car and did the unthinkable.
I also never stopped taking care of her, sending her money, not only for the birthday but supporting her in other ways. I only left for a few meters and looking back I saw them hugging. So I can't tell if they planned to do it that way or if it just happened. I was too angry to think clearly. So to think clearly, my thinking was greatly impaired by those events that happened right before my face. Can't even tell. When I decided to pick the axe, I wasn't myself.
He would then later learn that Ivy was deceased when a nurse who was attending to him informed him of the update after he regained consciousness in Moi Referral Hospital, where he was admitted after the mob justice. According to some testimonies from friends in Moi campus, Kinothia made frequent abrupt trips to see Ivy, which Ivy had tried to avoid and broke things off with him. However, refusing to accept the rejection, Kinothia became obsessed and turned into a stalker and used financial kindness, hoping that it would lead Ivy to reciprocate his love. This story aligns partially with Kinothia's mother's testament to the media, where she claimed that Kinothia had shown her a picture of Ivy, stating his intentions to marry her. Later on, Kinothia expressed regret and told her mother that Ivy no longer wants him and his mother comforted him, telling him that God would bless him with a girl that was rightfully his. His mother also expressed shock, claiming his son was not the kind to brutalize or unalive someone, affirming that the last time she heard of Ivy, they had separated with his son Kinuthia. The gruesome and unfortunate demise of Ivy Wangechi sent chills across the entire country as people tried to wrap their heads around the occurrence. On top of the crippling news of their deceased daughter, Ivy's family was subjected to a second round of trauma following a 3-year drag of the case and justice for Ivy. At some point in the case, the court postponed the case for a 5th time after Kinothia's lawyer withdrew, claiming that his client was difficult to work with. While this was a procedural issue, the time wasted was continuing to drain the family both in time and financially, as they claimed to spend close to 60,000 to 100,000 Kenya shillings in elements like logistics or facilitating witnesses to appear for the case. It also delayed the justice they wanted so much for their daughter. To add salt to injury, up to the time of Ivy's burial, the family had not yet received condolences from Kinothia's family, despite Kinothia insisting that they were family friends and that they knew each other since childhood. In court, Kinothia confessed to the crime. He justified his possession of an axe, saying it was an equipment for self-security since he worked night shifts at his workplace. He also claimed that the knife he also used in the assault was handed to him by someone from the crowd that was nearby. Justice Stephen Kethenji of the High Court of Eldoret dismissed Kinothia's pleas as 1. That there was no evidence that Ivy and Kinothia were in an intimate relationship as he claimed. The text message retrieved did not provide any evidence of intimate or a sexual relationship between the accused and the deceased. 2. The accused used a lethal weapon and brutalized the deceased, leaving her with no chance of survival. The court also argued that the deed was premeditated and had intent, as the axe was seemingly new and oddly well sharpened. The court also argued that if Kinothia had not intended to kill as he claimed, he would not have opted for a weapon, let alone a lethal weapon like an axe. This second argument dismissed Kinothia's claims of provocation by the deceased. Kinothia then spent 4 years in remand in Eldoret's GK prison as the case was going on. In his final appeal, Kinothia, through his lawyer, expressed remorse and tried to get an uncustodial sentence, claiming that the accused had reformed and had learned how to control his anger while in remand.
It's hard, and I feel bad for the family, for the victim's family. If there was anything that could be done now, we could do it.
However, in his ruling, Justice Stephen Kethenji stated that he had heard the suspect's plea, but the sentence was proportionate to the heinous crime for which Kinothia was found culpable. Kinothia then received a 40-year prison sentence on December 14, 2023. As much as Ivy's killer is behind bars, the damage he did can never be undone, as her untimely death forces her loved ones to live without her. The story of Ivy is one among many that continue to send shrills on the issue of femicide both nationally and globally. The women who find themselves deceased are left for people to talk on their behalf and tell their stories. Unfortunately, the victims are sometimes further blamed in a twist of events, implicating on the significance of their suffrage and subjecting them to apathy irrespective of how brutal their circumstances were. It is even unfortunate that victims like Ivy Wangechi are not left with a chance to give an account of their experiences before, during, and after their experience. It unfortunately leaves their stories to be told controlled by their oppressors and perpetrators, who are mainly determined to save face and corner the arms of justice in their favor, or third-party accounts of people we think were in their lives, but may or may not have the full story to understand the deceased perspective. We therefore urge empathy for the victims and sufficient recollection of their lives as much as it is possible to tell their stories in a manner that is true, to keep their memories and honor alive. We are sending good wishes and comfort to Ivy's family and loved ones. Bye for now and take care of yourselves.